We are not done pounding on Bud Light for the massive decision that they made to topple their company. And we're going to talk about what's going on since then. Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. This channel is highly committed to information that expands a prepared mind. And I'm giving you a little tell. I forgot to take off my reading glasses. I am 44 years old. I've got an almost white beard. It's almost white. This is why I don't wear light colors. Yet, I've gleaned some wisdom over the years and have had the opportunity to work in certain sectors of different industries that have allowed my eyes to see behind the curtains. And one of those businesses that I was the head of sales for, I was VP of sales for an international beverage company. And the first day on the job, I was in China, or on a plane to China, to Shanghai, and wondering, how did I get here? And this company was in the beverage space. This was in dairy, a different category than we're going to talk about with Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Yet, it's amazing to see the power of the beverage industry. It's amazing. This was out of the Wall Street Journal. Bud Light loses top title as America's best-selling U.S. beer. They lost it in 4 weeks. The last 4 weeks, it's been toppled. Before we get into the article, let's set the stage of why this is an important topic that we should be listening to and paying attention to about food and consumables, because beer is food for many people. They drink it at such a high level. It's got a ton of calories in it, and there's gobs of profit in it, a lot of times much more than food products and packaged goods. It's more consumed. Think about the versatility of beverages and how many you drink a day. One of the beverages that I have with me right now, and it's one of my favorites. If you don't know the LaCroix Limoncello, you should. It's one of the delicious ones of the seltzers. Yet, Bud Light is a premier, top, number one. There's none better than Anheuser-Busch's Bud Light. There's none better. And they've been completely lopped off at the knees. They're still huge. Now, mind you, these big hits, they're responsible to shareholders. All right, let's get into this. Modelo Especial in May took over the top sales spot, reflecting the enduring damage from Bud Light boycott. Boy, isn't that the truth. A month-long boycott of Bud Light has now reflected in the numbers in the industry. In 1 month, they're toppled. In the last 4 weeks, Modelo is now number one. And Anheuser-Busch sold them. They sold them to buy another sector of Mexican beers. And it just goes to show you that even the best, the largest, the biggest whales, if they jump into a specific lane and they support a specific lane and they alienate their primary source, this is what happens. And this is going to happen to every company that does it. And there's going to be lots more that are going to bow to this. And we all know what this is connected to, which is really the kind of evil shove of the transgender movement. If they desire to live that way, they have the same right as you and I do to live that way. We have the same right to call it out as blasphemy. Not blasphemy, as an abomination, rather. Yet, these abominations that our country is starting to promote as good and ethical and moral, this is how it happens, and Bud Light's just one of these stories. Modelo now represents over 8.5%, or right around 8.5% of the United States consumption of beers, which is so significant because the United States has a lot of discretionary income still in the households for simple pleasures. For example, in a recession, alcohol does extremely well. Cigarettes do well. Makeup typically does well. And so do sweet treats and coffee. People can afford $5 or $6 pleasures daily. They can choose to spend that. They can't choose to go on flyaway vacations and stay in resorts, yet they can choose to do this. Alcohol and beer sales typically go up. My wife and I used to own some frozen yogurt shops and coffee shops, and we opened up in 2010. And one of the first customers that came through the line said to me, "I hope you make it. Everyone is just going out of business." Well, what we didn't realize is that the timing was so perfect to start a business at that time, that as that market began to recover, because in 2010 the market was still really beat up. It was really beat up. It was a great time to start a business. Now is a great time to be thinking about starting a business. Bud Light sales were down about 24% in the week ending in June 3rd compared to the same time last year. 25% is catastrophic. It's catastrophic. They are so in hot water right now with the shareholders. They've got to be just through the roof upset with them. Their board is, who knows what, to be a fly on the wall during their board meetings, because these decisions to run these type of sensitive political ads are spoken about amongst leadership. They don't allow these things to go without having knowledge of it. They don't just say, "Hey, hire this marketing company and don't tell us what you're going to do. Just make our brand better." Heck no. They get weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannually, annually reports on what their strategies are, because a significant percentage of the sales that just dropped by 24% goes into marketing. Lots and lots of money. Probably more goes into marketing than building the facilities and making the beer. Truth, to get us to consume these products. And this is most big companies will spend such a significant amount in profit. Okay, other Anheuser-Busch brands have also taken a huge hit, including Budweiser and Michelob Ultra, which is an ominous sign for Bud Light and the distributors during this season, because these distributors had to work for generations, some of them. And this article talks about it, for generations, to achieve this status as number one. And they're just not number one. They are the biggest. They're the biggest. They sell the most velocity. And to know that it's also trickling down to their distributors, which many of them are family-owned businesses, and they've been ran for generations, and they've been distributing Anheuser-Busch products. That's all they know. Their fathers, their grandfathers, some of them their great-grandfathers have been in this business. It's a great business, and people don't ever stop consuming alcohol, especially beer. This is really bad. All I'm saying, I think there's some partiality, because I enjoy Bud Light. If you're in a hot day and you have a chance to have a hot beer or two, or it's a hot beer or two, a cold beer or two, Bud Light's a refreshing beer to drink. And I'm disappointed I'll never drink them again. That's just coming from me. All that to say, we are watching moves happen, political moves. Our government makes moves, and we vote with our dollars. Keep voting with your dollars. Super important. I have a passage of scripture that I intend on encouraging you with this morning. It encouraged me, and this channel is going to cover a lot of scripture at different times, yet the book of Proverbs, for those of us that are looking to be leaders and history makers and earth shakers and recruiters for the kingdom, we have to be in the scripture. We have to be in our sword. This is our offensive tool. It's the only offensive tool in the armor, the spiritual armor. It's the only one. It's the spoken word, and our tongue is so sharp. It's so sharp. That's why we have to be careful what we say. And boy, I feel accountable to that sometimes, because I have foot-to-mouth syndrome often. Proverbs 3, verses 6 through 11. I'm highlighting some of these, and I'd like you to just listen as I anchor on these scriptures and allow this to just rest on your soul. This is more about our development and how to increase our spiritual shield, which is faith, so that we can come into this physical world and prepare our physical shield, which is our ability to stay out of Babylon, to have to run to daddy government or principalities and to put our confidence in them. Psalms 118, 8 and 9 says, better put your trust in the Lord than put your confidence in man. It's verse 9 says, better put your trust in the Lord than your confidence in principalities or princes or governments or leadership. We have to put our trust in the Lord, which all comes down to faith. Proverbs 3, 6 through 11. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. You must seek his will in your life. You are created to glorify him. And if you're choosing to do something that you know is outside of the will of the Father, you're just going to be working with the strength of your own physical body and your own will to do something. Yet, if you seek the Lord's will in your life, he's going to tell us which path to take. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. I'm, like we were talking about at the beginning, at 44, I'm a little gray these days, yet I can't be fascinated with my own wisdom. And I've learned a lot over the years, and I've passed a lot of wisdom on, which is a lending to many and not borrowing. So once we own wisdom, we've purchased it, we've retained it, and we should be teaching others. So this is why this channel's committed to expanding a prepared mind so that we can help others, because we prepare for others. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. So don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord. Honor him with such sincerity that you turn from evil. And we know what evil is. Our spirit knows what evil is. And if you're not quite sure, talk with the Lord. He's going to bring things up and he'll help you. He desires to be that for you as well. Honor the Lord, and if you turn away from evil, let me go back on that one. Then you will have healing in your body. So if you're ailed right now, this is a way to turn from evil and to seek the Lord for his will in your life. Because he says right here, then you will have healing in your body. So that anxiousness, that stress, that tightness that you have in the chest, the worry, the fear, the doubt, which is not of the Lord, it's evil. This is what we will receive if we turn from evil and go to the Lord looking for his will, that you'll have healing in your body and strength in your bones. And there's a difference between being sick with stress and anxiety or your body feeling crippled or arthritic. Not to say that all of a sudden things get solved just because we do these things, yet our mental health and the stress on our body that we carry through our thoughts, many of us have a significant portion of the thoughts that we think is extended into our bodies. We know this. And it's saying right here that if we do this, this is what we'll receive, is healing in our body and strength in our bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything you produce. How do we do that? We produce a lot. There's a lot of things that we produce. So there's obviously financial production, which is sweat of the brow, which is labor. That's how we're going to eat and survive. Yet the best part of everything we produce, I'm going to have to dwell on that. This is landing on me differently just as I'm speaking this to you. So let's think about that. Maybe we'll talk about that again. Then he will fill your barns with grain, and your vats will overflow with new wine or good wine, fresh wine. And the wine had to do with the medicinal value. When they would make vats of wine, the wine we drink today, oftentimes people consume it for recreation. Then it was probiotic, it was filled, it was made differently, yet it was wine. It was fermented. And good wine had to do with good health and a healthy body. And I'm not condoning going to Bud Light and starting to drink all this wine. What I'm saying is that when the foods that we eat are going to bless our bodies, and these are our provisions of our physical bodies. We're talking about our mental health right now, which is seeking the Lord for his will in your life. And he's going, if you turn from evil and seek him, he's going to heal your stress, and he's going to soften your bones. And if you give to him with the best part of what you produce, if it's in your heart to do that, and some of us are in different levels, and I don't desire to call that a tithe. I desire to call it a give. That's between you and the Lord and how you choose to seek him for that. And in our house, we honor that. In many of your homes, you probably honor that as well. He's going to overflow your barns, your storehouses, your preps, the things that physically, the provisions that we need in our physical bodies right now while we're here on this earth temporarily. Verse 11, my child, do not reject the Lord's discipline, and don't be upset when he corrects you. A parent, if you're a parent, put it in the comments. Say, I'm a parent. Tell me how many kids you have for the next couple minutes because we're about done here. I'd like to know. Yet when he corrects you, don't be upset. Don't be upset. Because part of rearing children is correction, constant correction. When you have multiple children, holy cow, it's constant correction. Yet it's by design, that discipline is designed to rear them so that when they go out and you send them out like arrows in the directions they should go so they have the most impact. And you're not just launching them out into the space like, oh, if you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. No, you want to understand where our children are supposed to go, and you want to release them with the discipline of the Lord that you have in your life. So when he chastens us and he disciplines us, we're not to be upset when he corrects us. We're supposed to thank him and to fear him and to honor him. Hey, awesome. Just had your first son in 6 weeks ago. John, congratulations. Hey, what's his name? While we're on here, what's his name? Well, that's about it. Team, citizens of YouTube, the 8 of us that are on here now are going to be earth shakers and history makers. We are designed to be improvers, elevators, encouragers, mentors, coaches. Teach. It's going to anchor this wisdom on you. Teach people about preparedness. Teach people about Jesus Christ and how powerful he is. So right now, I bless you all. Thank you for hanging out. This is the second live. Maybe I'll do these more often. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.